Okay, and then when we are planning to disassemble this choke strut, where is this choke and then spring, we need that kind of specific this spring compression tools, and these things make so that they compress this spring so much that we can open then finally that nut in here. And then do not open that nut so that you start to open that, because there is big risk that you could hurt yourself, because the spring is so heavy that it can do some damage to yourself or somebody else, and that's we need always that kind of compression tools. And this compression tools setup happens so that we first look this upper line and then lower line, and we insert that tool in between of these in that way, first one in here and then the second one in this other side, and then I start to rotate that little bit, and then we also check that this bolt can move in here, and then check that these compression tools, these hooks, they are inside in here. This is very important, that they are in there in deeply, not in that way, that they are like that way. No, this is very bad. They must be both in very deep, and then we only rotate that bolt, and there is big bolt what start to compress that spring in together, like smaller. Idea is to do this spring, that part smaller. And then I compress, and then I check that these are okay in here and those also good, and bolt is moving also. Then I check that can my bolt moves. I need a little bit. Now I think that I need to rotate that in other side, that my bolt system works well. Okay, it's there, good. And now I fasten that. Okay, good. And then it's good to keep this bolt in same line as this choke, not in that way. In this is the good way in here. And then I fasten that good. It is there in that way, and then I insert that second spring in other side in here in that way. Oh, it's there on that side. Okay, and now they are fine in there, good. And then it's good if we have that kind of workbench, what is in here, because this sock is so easy to insert in between these two clamps in here, in that way, and then I compress that in here. And it's then, and now it is so easy to then tighten when these are in here, and this is very easy to handle. And then we have next step, that I need to start to fasten these bolts next. Okay, and then there is interesting thing that in these my springs there is possibility that this my tool fits in that hole in here, and when I use little bit longer bar, I can start to compress that spring. And there is idea that I need to compress in both these compression tools in one by one, like 10 10 times in here, 10 times in that one, and then I need to change this my tool to this second what is in here, in that area. And that also then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then that first one again 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then when I am pressing that thing, I need to all time check that how this spring is going smaller. And then when suddenly it is loosened in here, I can stop that my job. And now I continue this compression using something like couple of minutes, and I change that pace. And now it seems that this is already loosened. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and that means that if this is already loosened, I have a good chance, because this is the situation. When this part starts to move, I can start to open this central nut in here. And that means that now I take this my assembly away in this my workbench, and I change that here. Okay, and then my idea is to insert this my workbench, this part between this my workbench clamps, so that then I a little bit compress that in this way. Then I can open this central nut, and it's my next job. Okay, and then this central nut opening is very easy, because this is interesting very often, very easy to open, and I need now socket what side is 1, 9, like 19, and it fits in here, and that part keeps this position in well place, and then I can only rotate, and this bolt opens really easily. Interesting easily. Maybe. Okay, and there is this nut, good. And then I take that my part away in here, and now this is free. I can take this, and there is, look, there is that kind of bolt what becomes in this, belongs in this upper area. That part, it is good to remember. And then when I take these things away, I take this, there is this spring, and there is this choke, and there is this choke support thing in here. Okay, and this is fine. And here we have this old choke, and we can inspect, we can check very easily that is this choke okay or not, so that when I press that choke down, and if it pop up again, it is okay. Okay, and this moves quite okay. It is not totally dead, but because in dead choke they are in here down all time. But this lift up quite well, and then we compare in this my new choke. What is the difference? This is my new choke, and then I press also this new choke up, and we check that how fast is this, and then that one competition, which one is faster, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this new one, okay, actually this older one becomes higher. Very interesting. Okay, interesting. Okay, maybe this is not so bad because it went up. Okay, and then I install anyway this new chock pack, and this pack installation happens so that first step is that we have in here this rubber sealant what belongs in here in that way. There's this rubber sealant in here. This is first step, and now I take this away, and then this next part is that I need to insert this spring back in here, and then if I have new spring also I can install it